Welcome to Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia, where we explore inspiring stories of natural healing and transformation. I'm your host, Stacia Alicia, and I am so excited to have you here today. Today on Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia, we are joined by a woman whose story is as powerful as her presence. Hi, Marisha.
Hi, Stacia.
All right. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
I am from Brooklyn, and I am born and raised in the States here. Parents are born and raised here in the States as well. And I am theatric. I love communicating and talking, being of service, working with children, and just being in the front of the scene and in the back as well. I'm all about productivity in all dimensions. Health and wellness is, I guess I want to say, life story. Like, I just love seeing all the bright sides of everything. I think that's what I got for you there.
You touched on the fact that you're a health and wellness enthusiast. So I know that you have a story there, and that's why you're here today. So can you tell me what were the health challenges that you were experiencing, and how did they impact your day-to-day life, your mental, your physical, your emotional well-being?
Okay, so younger years of my life, when my menstrual came about, I had severe cramps. It got really bad to where my attendance started messing up in school, which really played in my head a lot because I was always getting certifications for attendance and being in school. But my cramping was really, really bad. I even had a GYN appointment to where they had to give me prescription for like these big horse pills to take to help with the cramps, but they didn't. I would basically, now looking back at it, I was going through like labor pains. I was going through the flashes. I needed silence. I was throwing up. I couldn't hold anything down, no tea, no anything. I was just basically like dry fasting because I couldn't even drink water. It was that bad. Then I figured out, really, so my mom and I, we figured out like it was dairy that was the culprit. I would eat everything with cheese, cheeseburgers, cheese fries, pizza, anything that you could think of that, grilled cheese, all these things that, you grew up eating in the house. And then I took breaks from them. And then I watched my cycle the following month after taking a break. And I noticed that I could like go outside and tolerate, like, and just be cool. And then it was like, my mom and I was just like, okay, well, we know what it is now. This is way before even like thinking about, you know, changes in like I've done in my latter years. But I was just like, she was like, dairy's gonna have to be something that you have to eliminate, or you're gonna just have to work with the consequences, knowing that when you eat it the next month, your cycle is going to be like this. So, and I weighed my options too, because dairy is quite addictive. So I was like, all right, dang, I see everybody eating cheese around me. All right, should I have pizza today? And I'm like, all right, I'll make sure I have some Excedrin next month, ready, gun hold, because I know I'm gonna want to be at this pizza party or this whatever party. I didn't want to miss out. So that was like the big red flag for me as at a young age.
Apart from the horrible period cramps, which I know all too well, were there any other health challenges that you experienced?
In my latter 20s, I'm gonna backtrack and then go forward again. So I grew up doing athletics all the time, dancing and track. And my latter 20s, I kind of like tapered off of that because college came around and I wasn't doing any of these things. Well, not to the degree that I was doing it at a younger age, I'll say that. And so I started putting a lot of weight on, and I wound up going to the doctor, GYN, like I would normally do, just to, be preventative. And then the lady was just like, oh, you have some cysts, benign cysts, nothing to worry about. And then later she coded the word as like fibroids. So I played the conversations over and over like I do with any time. You know how you have playback in your head, like what you should have said, or I'm just like, this lady was playing games. I feel like she already knew, and it was just like, you just call it this, and then now you're calling it this. And then it was fear mongering. And that was one of the other things outside of like my skin. I would have breakouts like all over. and I would correlate it as like teen acne. And I'm just like, it's not, like, looking back at that now, that's not even teen acne. Wherever you break out, I know that it was according to, that organ or something that was trying to tell you that it needed something or you needed to cleanse. And I would have breakouts on my chest, my back, severely on my face. I noticed this is, not connecting it to diet. It was something that I'm just like, why is this happening to me? And I went to the dermatologist, trying to get that fixed. I was always trying to be proactive with taking care of myself, not connecting it with diet.
Because I know sometimes when you have a lot of acne and pimples and stuff like that, it can affect like maybe your self-esteem, your self-confidence. How did that affect you?
Oh man. So I was already getting teased because of my complexion and being a tall, fast girl, because boys are slow and short. So that was very intimidating. So to have the acne and that I got teased about that. The boys would, you're wearing sleeveless or whatever. And I would also I would change up how I would wear my clothes because of that. The whole cramping with the cycle and stuff, I would miss out on stuff because I would have to be home for at least a day or two. This was summertime. This was all the time. And even with work, because my cramping tapped into when I started working. So I would start missing out on work. That messed up my attendance with work too, here and there. So I was just like, okay, this is really, we gotta do something. But it made me sit in my mirror and look at myself and like doubt myself sometimes. And even with the whole cis fibroid thing, I would like stand in the mirror and I'm just like, well, why is this area not like going down? If I'm eating right and working out and doing all of these things, why is it not reflecting? So
At what point or what specific point did you say to yourself, I have to change something. I have to do something about this right now? Because I know that you said, sometimes you would have the dairy. At what point did you decide that you needed to change permanently?
2012, a very significant year. So I got my biggest that year and I saw it in pictures and it took me I already kind of saw it a little bit, but when I started seeing pictures of myself, I was like, who is that? Oh my gosh. Like, no, we got to deal with this girl because you ain't never been this big. Again, I was running track and dancing. So for me to get this big, I was just like, why nobody tell me this? But I was hiding in my emotions with food and stuff. And that year I started, I nailed it in as far as taking a before picture. And then after that time span, it took me under a year, I released all this weight. I changed my eating habits out of boredom initially because I was tired of having, like, I don't know, in your household, if your family did this, where Mondays you have this, Tuesday you have this, Wednesday you have this, Friday you have this. So I was just like, no, I'm over this. So the chain thing came from boredom along with the extra weight. Then my grandmother transitioned this year as well, in 2012, I'm saying. So that was like, that really put me in the high gear mode to go hard because the symbolism was me seeing her, me being with her. She was 72, I was 27. It was just like, I felt like life was just like, look, you want this route because this could happen right now for you. So fix yourself and get it together. And I did it. I changed my eating habits. I was still dancing. I started dancing while I was working then this year as a dance teacher. So I was dancing and like for work, and then I would be able to work out twice a day. So before I would start dancing and after. And then when you first change to the vegetable lifestyle, your weight like really drops off fast too. So when everybody saw that, they was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "Worked out and changed my eating habits." They was like, "What? That's from that? And you did that?" So that was the big light bulb for me, because my grandmother went out on preventative diseases. She had diabetes, she had kidney issues. It was just like watching her fail from things that she could have prevented, had she known to keep her hair longer. So I was like, all right, well, this is the lesson for me. It is a sad lesson, but it's a lesson for me, and I am doing great, doing better.
Did you turn to any support or resources in the beginning, or you just made the change on your own?
I was on a cusp of the technology in the time of like reaching out because the whole vegan thing was still like you had to Google everything. It wasn't like so fast now. We could go on like TikTok and Instagram and like look at a little video and get it. You had to like look encyclopedia, look in this book here, read this, go old school YouTube, word of mouth on the phone. I have one of my older sisters. She was vegan at the time, so I reached out to her, asked her some ideas. But for the most part, I was just Googling. My sister was probably the only one that I reached out to. I did look at other people, and that was basically it. So I would see videos of people doing stuff, eating healthy, and I'm like, that looks good. How could I change that up and make it so that there's no animals in that? And I was like, bam, I'm gonna just do that. So I had outside resources, but these people was still entertaining animals and doing other things. So I just said, I'm gonna watch them, but I'm gonna just twist it and make it my own.
How did your understanding of nutrition and lifestyle evolve as you began studying nutrition, holistic health, and fitness?
That it was very simple and that we make it complicated as individuals here. Just like basic math, I feel like with life, if you just get in a routine of including stuff, being inclusive and not exclusive, which I feel like this lifestyle is more inclusive to stuff, that it's simple to heal. It's challenging sometimes, but the math to it is simple with this self-care in any dimension, and that you have to just apply it in everything. So you can't, for me, I feel like naturally when I started changing what I was eating, how I was talking was changing, who I was with, my thinking started changing, my perspective. Like me and you could look at the same painting, and then you see in darkness, and I'm like, oh, well, I see the sun. So like I was having a lot of those conversations and those revelations with people. I felt like the movie The Matrix, the guy Neo, where he tells oh gosh, I can't even think of the guy's character, Lawrence Fishburne's character name, but he was like, once you take the red pill, you're not gonna be able to go back. And I feel like revelation through what you eat, all the herbs and stuff, was the revelation of this is the simplicity to it. And all that stuff that you've been eating before, or what you've been diving into, what you've been doing, you're gonna turn off to it immediately. And I'm just like, and just that's just been happening nonstop. And I just feel like it's easy elevation with just following that. And I feel like the struggles, or these words that people like to use, like the pain and stuff, is because we get in the way. And the more I continue this lifestyle, the more I understand that if you just keep it simple and just go with the river and don't go against the stream, you will find it easy or easier to be living and being happy.
Many women suffer silently from heavy periods, brain fog, fibroids, basically the issues that you had to deal with. What do you believe are some of the common causes that often get overlooked?
The products we use, outside of food, is the products, because of, the industry is always targeting women with different chemicals to put in your hair, on your body, even clothing. That's one thing that I look to shift next into, is the clothing, because the fibers and things that we wear around our reproductive area, which we close in 8 hours a day, is polyester, different things, instead of like having just cotton on. Those things tribute to the suffering or the lack of life, with attributing to the ailments of what women are going through. Food, definitely, because of all the dyes and things, and fried this and that, and not having any type of life in you. You should be, if you want to live, you got to eat to live. So you have to eat the things from the earth instead of things from the science lab, or more of it. And I know that it's also habits that have been taught to us, and then we learn at latter ages, which is also a reason it's hard to let go, because you have to practice it, like learning how to ride a bike or learning how to walk. So if you implement it, it could assist. I know I'm going left with that answer now, but yeah, it's the it's the clothes, it's the food, it's all of these things, these
The
products that they're
products,
constantly.
everything. What are some of the products specifically in terms of what we put on our skin that you had to do away with?
A lot of your popular name brand soaps,
Okay.
deodorant. I like realized from just changing how you eat, you didn't have to cover up these odors. See, it was, I like everybody's working hand in hand because pharma and food is working together. And it's just like, okay, eat this crap, but we'll give you this stuff to cover it up. Because once I changed my diet and my lifestyle, deodorant, I use salt sticks now. I don't even need any of the stuff that they advertise there, in the stores for us to go and get.
You said something about salt sticks for
Yeah.
deodorant.
Uh-huh.
What's that?
Crystal, they have that's the name of the brand, Crystal. They have a salt stick, and all you have to do is just put water on it and then under your arm.
Oh, okay. And what's in that? Just salt?
Yes.
Oh.
Again, here we go with this YouTube thing. Now I know what you asked. I'm back in my head now. Like toothpaste, I was looking at Crest, I was looking at all these people. I'm like, why do we have soy in this? Why do we have this? Why is this even here? What is red dye, blue dye in here? I shouldn't be having this. So I started looking up ways of making my own toothpaste, putting on, like, instead of lotion, I'm doing grapeseed oil, coconut oil on my skin, shea butter. And I was like, if I could eat it, or if my blood wouldn't like have no chemical reaction, like I already know it's going to have a reaction with the natural stuff, but I'm like, I don't even want the extra stuff. So I was like, if I could find an alternative, so I would turn around and read the stuff. Oh, I said, aloe, okay, little alcohol. I make my own hand sanitizer. Boom. I want some air freshener. I'll go get me some incense sticks, or I'll burn some cinnamon or something. So I'm always just like, if this exists, then I know the other thing have to exist. It's balance, so I can find it.
I love that. You said that you learned to make your toothpaste. Tell us about that. What ingredients did you use for your toothpaste?
Coconut oil. I have the clay, the mineralized clay. I'll add some essential oil like peppermint, cinnamon, clove, neem oil. I'll do different powders. So I have like marshmallow. There are different herbs that I grind up in like powder form.
Oh,
Like neem, I do the oil and the powder. I'll do a little dash of like peroxide sparingly, but I switch it up. So I have some ingredients, but I always like shift it around each time I make a new batch.
okay.
But it's like a little putty like. So it'll get hard if it's cold because of coconut oil, but then it'll
Yeah.
soften. It'll go according to that. But there's different herbs that are good like cooling agents for your mouth, and that I will put in the powder that I make. And like I'll have clove powder, clove oil, neem powder, neem oil, the clay, and the clay is. Now, first off, I also do like oil pulls too with the coconut oil. I do that every
Oh,
day, and I have chlorophyll I add as well in my oil pull, as well as in the tooth powder. But I'll just vary it up. So I looked up. I don't know the ingredients off top, but I have it written so that I can just switch it around, and I make my own paste that way, and I travel with it, and I love it.
so how did your approach to movement, dancing, and exercise support your healing, especially with symptoms like low energy and inflammation?
Well, for one, it helped get rid of the excess weight. It was an assistance with that. It was also freeing up emotions too, because people tend to focus on just weight when they move, but you have a release of stagnant energy as well, which is why things stick around, which is what I'm learning with fibroids, because I don't like to say I have. I just like to say it exists because I don't want to claim it. But I know that fibroids exist, or it's less, but they still exist because of an energy thing with me. It's not food, it's not movement, because I'm doing all these other things, fast and all these other things, but it's energy. So a lot of people don't count that in, but the working out has helped with the releasing of the weight and the excess stuff. It gave me more clarity to stand 10 toes down on who I am, reassurance of like, yeah, that's it. Like I feel like spirit was like, yes, like you finally getting it, you tapping in. And I feel like I got out of my own way with going this direction of making all of these changes. And it's also brought on simplicity in like other dimensions with work, with like even opportunities like this, with interviewing with you, because I feel like this me doing what I need to be doing is effortlessly bringing and or attracting what I want, right? And what I desire. And it's just made life, again, like I said, the message just keeps coming back as being simple. And like, look how I feel like, you know how parents have a sit down talk after a child is crying and like, you see, was it that hard? And just like, no. I feel like that spirit, like saying, like, see, like, this is what I've been trying to tell you for years, but like now you finally having an aha moment, and I'm happy for you. I'm sad that it took so long, but whatever. This is your time. This is no time like the present. But it's just made everything a little bit more simple with trying out, with doing, accepting, or not even accepting, but just acknowledging it and knowing that I don't have to take on everything. Because extra weight is also just bearing a lot of stuff. But like dancing is just being free, just being more artistic. The movement has also helped with me building a stronger foundation. So I know foundation is more so like being still, but in movement, you also have to learn how to be still at times. That's also taught me that as well.
What's your philosophy on fitness, healing, and self care?
Well, following my name, not my birth name, but I'm gonna say industry, MBody Fitness. When I mention that, it's literally in all dimensions. So, as I said initially, people like to focus on just working out, but if you follow and let it flow, everything else will shift, and you should flow with that. So you should embody it and embrace those changes and not force to keep on and hold on to things. Although making changes are challenging, you have to learn to let go, especially if you're looking to grow. Because you hold on to stuff, then you have no opportunity to have the open hands to receive what you're asking for. So have to be open-minded and embody it and embrace it.
I like that. Embody. I'm just getting that the play on the words. Okay, what role do mindset and consistency play in transformation, and how do you help your clients to tap into that?
So mindset is everything to me because that gets the motor rolling. Because you can have a plan and have a detailed plan, but if you don't have or see it that you can complete it or even start it, you're not going to start it. And you have to have the willpower, because everything starts as a thought. And you have to constantly, constantly or consistently feed that to yourself. And you have to be consistent. So motivation and discipline kind of are the partners that I'd say would work in this question scenario that you're saying. So motivation is, yeah, I'm going to work out. Bam, 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 bam. Then something comes up and then like you upset. Now you want to go sit and be depressed and eat cookies and go and drink. But the discipline is, what did I say 30 days ago? And then you have to apply that because you have to do that in that time and space where it is not so bright. It is probably a gray day. Something's going to happen, but that consistency is going to help you work through these challenges of life that come about. Because if you keep giving up on the out, like how you give up on the outside is a reflection of how you deal with yourself. So, all right, yeah, I give up. But that's you just showing that's how you give up on yourself too. So you have to be ready here to also apply the consistency on the outside.
How do you help your clients though when they lack the motivation or the strong mindset?
I was a dance teacher, right? And I like working with children anyway. But working with children helps me deal with adults. We just have a big number, but we are actually children. I'm telling you, incentives really work. So I just finished doing a challenge with. I'm answering your question, by the way. Just finished doing a challenge with my coworkers called Active April, where gave them different things to do on the calendar every day. But then the bonus challenge was to work out for at least 10 to 15 minutes, right? Because I know some of them don't work out. So, and I said, however you want to work out, take a picture of some fruit every day, and then reflect every day. So initially, everybody started and did it great. It was like, oh yeah, this is great. But then some people found out that they had to keep doing it. They was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. And then it, boiled down to the end of the challenge. Only 2 people completed the challenge. Now, in the very beginning of this, I stated what they would win, which was a basket of different things. So a jar of herbs that I put together, some fresh juice, shea butter, some magnesium spray, different things, right? A whole variety box that's worth well over maybe $100 for free. So if everybody in this department had did it, I would have given to everybody.
Ah.
2 people completed it. So the incentive was the prize, right? The wellness package. So I believe that even though it was only 2, that motivated them to finish it, right? Because had that not been there, maybe those 2 people would have quit too, and I would have had nobody. But having incentives helps people go, because these 2 people who won were people who lack consistency. Their mindset, from conversation with them, they talk down about themselves sometimes. But when they saw that, I had side conversations with them. They was like, you know what? I'm gonna get that basket. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna do this and this and this and this. So I feel like when I have people who do have that type of mindset, and I've worked with different groups of people before. Like I worked with women who were gamblers, right? And money motivated them. So I told them if they gained weight, that every pound you add a 0 behind it. So if they gained 5, they had to put $50 in the pot. Nobody gained weight after a while. Nobody, because they didn't want to put no money out. So what works for different people, I listen and I pay attention, but that helped them be
So,
consistent. So
so basically, you listen to your clients, you know what motivates them, and then you use that to
Mhm.
determine. I like that. I like that idea. What are some of the most common mistakes you see women making when they're trying to reclaim their health and lose weight?
I'm thinking that speed, like this word speed sticks in front of them. They're like, they got to do it fast. I got to get it now. What can I do right now that's going to change me? Like I dream of Genie. Like I'm going to blink and just everything is going to be good. They think, getting there fast is going to help. And I'm just like, that's not the route you want to go, because 1, you don't learn anything. 2, you're going to retract. And 3 is just like, you don't even like, you don't have any drive. You're just doing it because you see that here's this pill. You're going to take it and it's going to work for you. And yeah, and I'm gonna just go and buy it because you said it's gonna work and it's gonna help me not have to sweat, and I can still look cute and still have time to go and do all these extra things that are still killing me, but I can still lose the weight. So they look for stuff to, go fast, and they don't look to actually do the work to do the change to have the consistency.
For someone who feels overwhelmed by all the information that are online, where should they start?
I would say they should start with them, like reflecting with themselves, journaling, just what they eat, right? Let's say, okay, I'm not going to change anything, but I just want to see how I'm eating. Like have a journal so that they can look at it over maybe 2 weeks. I'm not even big on journaling, but you have to start somewhere to get something going. So I would say journal, and that could be writing, or it could also be just taking pictures of it. So you're taking pictures consistently of everything you're eating. So then now you're going to look back at it and be like, wow, this is why I gained all this weight. Oh, this is what's happening. Right. And so then now they can start making changes so that the pictures can improve. And then maybe like YouTube University has everything on there. So you can just search dance music, put it on and just start dancing. You don't even need to worry about no outfit, no going to no gym. Like, because people be worried about that, people want to get fit to go to the gym to get fit. That's hilarious to me. But anyway, like you afraid to be around people, put your laptop on, put your phone on, put some music on, walk around your house, walk around your neighborhood. Don't make it a big, see, people start making things a big project because they want to go from chapter 1 to 100 because they seeing everybody and they're comparing, but they should be right in there now and right in their moment. Where am I at? I can just put some sneakers on and go outside and walk because I ain't lifted no weights in like 5 years. I'm trying to be like this girl that I see on the internet. I can't do that. I'm not doing that. You gotta be realistic with yourself. So they have to be in the moment and in the now.
There's a common thread that you have been sharing, and that's simple and livable lifestyle changes. You've mentioned a few. Can you give us some more examples of some simple and livable changes that we can make?
I will tell you what I implement because I like to be the change that I seek. So getting up and starting your day positive, just stretching before you get out of bed, you know, giving thanks, touching yourself, patting your limbs and moving and shaking, and speaking positively to yourself. And you maybe want to walk around if you have time to walk outside, take some deep breaths. Then you also want to, again, feed yourself life. So I start my day with fruit. I don't go heavy and crazy like in the early part of the day. I make sure that I make my own stuff because I want to know the energy that's coming into my body. So if I'm touching it, I know that's what's coming in, what I'm consuming. If I know we are big on technology, so we pick up our phones. I'm not big to look at news. Like people like to wake up and look at news. That gets your blood going through the roof. I want to see positive things. So I'll listen to, again, YouTube University, that's my space. I would listen to guided meditation or some positive motivational speeches for like 10 or 15 minutes, even when I work out. So like I'll rebound every day and I'll listen to something then just to help the gears going. Or sometimes I'll read a page out of a book. I'll pick up a book. I take a good while to finish books because I just go with the wind. So I'll have like 3 books and then I'm like, all right, let me read two pages out of here. And then it'll be what I need in that moment. And I'll just be ready to throw the book across the room. I'm like, God, how you did that? How you did that? So just looking for the good in everything in every moment and making sure I find it, because it's so easy to be negative and it's so easy to just like argue. But the challenge with being positive and just like shutting up when people take you to can like pull your lips to want to cuss them out, and you just be like, wow, look at that. I grew. Look at this. I'm not even sweating you. Like, yeah, yeah.
What's your take on hormonal balance and how do you help your clients to regulate naturally?
So I think the source of everything it comes from earth. So I'm going to say herbs, right? And depending on the person, the combination of what they need balance with, I would implement that. So herbs are my first go-to with whether it be a tea blend, or me doing like capsules for somebody, or I'll do like sea moss gummies for somebody who is not ready for the actual bitterness of the herbs. But I would implement that. I would also, I'm starting where they are too. So I would, if they're eating crazy, and I'm saying crazy because that's my perspective, but I would say like breaking fast, I would focus on that for them. If they're going to have burgers and steaks for the rest of the day, I'm just going to say, hey, start your day with fruit and then go crazy. Because then I've had these people come back to me and say, oh, you know what? I felt a difference. I'm like, okay, so keep going. And then now the next time with their meals, I'm just like, okay, have some chlorophyll, get that in with some raw vegetables with your lunch or something like that. So I try to implement it, not even try to do it with food, because the herbs and stuff, yes, that works for a lot of people, but they don't get that math when they're just trying to step in like this water of healing. So I want to speak the language that they understand. And then sometimes people are ready, they would instigate that conversation. Or if I see it, then I would also, or, initiate it and just be like, okay, I think you should try so-and-so because of X, Y, and Z. But the herbs are my number one go-to assist people with balancing hormones and things.
So, what has womanhood taught you about wellness and prioritizing yourself?
I've learned that I'm going to say in the spaces that I've been around, because I don't know if it's all women of color, but a lot of us do not focus on womb wellness, like loving ourselves, loving like your vagina, loving your uterus, focusing on these things. It's always just like basic signs like, okay, you're going to get your period here, you're going to have a baby here, and then that's it. It's not like the depth of what you're putting in your body, how you can nourish yourself, how you should be talking to yourself, implementing positive talk to yourself, because the world is always constantly telling you that you need to change something, you need to fix something. So we don't have enough people in the society of women that look like me, that are, and it is a lot, but it's still the number of people who do opposite is still is big, where you want to put this hair on, you want to put these lashes on, you want to put the nails on, you got to cover up with makeup, you cannot enjoy yourself and be beautiful. But I also learned that there are people who initiate it, but they don't know how to go. So like, I feel like the trailblazer was, for me, I'm gonna use my family, like the trailblazer was each generation, like my grandmother did something, and then now my mom, she did something, and now I have the baton. So now I'm also assisting with opening that gate up a little bit more to embracing and then loving yourself, and having more womb care, womb time, and not making it a ill kind of subject, like you're doing that type thing, and making it a normal conversation, because people just make it seem like it's so like voodoo to talk about your vagina, your breast, having a baby, all of these things outside of context. Like girl, like what are you talking about? Oh, my vagina, my vulva, like what do you can you like? So I see that people they have the tweak or the spark. Some have, but if they're not around in that environment of people who are like them, then it's going to keep dying out. But if now I'm coming into that space with you and you're talking about it, now we are stronger because now we are a unit. You're not by yourself no more. So I feel like there's a lot of people who are by themselves, which is why I also I tell people all the time, if your family doesn't support you, there's a lot of people in the online world that you can find to connect with more than in person, because everybody around you be like, what are you talking about? You look so weird. Like, you doing this, you weird. You don't make no sense. So, you got to find your tribe, and it may not be your family or your close friends, but just circling back to your question, I see sparks of people talking, but they don't know how to move forward. They need somebody to help them delegate. Like, some people have the idea and some people know how to get it out.
So basically, you're saying that even in prioritizing yourself, you still have to find a tribe to support you on that journey.
Yes.
That's a very good way to look at it. I love that. Can you share a transformation story? You don't have to call their names, from one of your clients, a story that really touched your heart.
I want to do two. A
No
male, a
problem.
female, and a male. So and again, I tell you, it's all about embodying fitness. So this person, she worked out, but then she started slacking and wasn't giving herself time. And then I had this task of fasting forward with progress, this program that I had where I would give them a report card and they would give themselves checks for doing these things. So with this layout, this incentive chart that I gave her, she was able to be consistent with pouring into herself, just giving herself time, right? Because the big thing out of this picture was she wasn't giving herself any time anymore. So her giving herself time to sit down and like reflect and write also gave her time to see that she could work out again, because she was saying, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And then not only was her, mind clearing up because she was shifting how she was eating a little bit, but because she was reflecting, she was able to be more positive, and then also work out. So she would work out not just at home, but at school when she had breaks of teaching. And then that was really sentimental to me because she's a mom, and she just, as a lot of moms think, they say they don't have time to do stuff. But I'm just like, you just have to make that time. So she saw how easy it was. And it was not even like no hardcore workout, no hardcore regimen. It was just her sitting down, handling one task at a time instead of thinking about 100 things to do at one time. She stayed in that moment, in the now. Now, like the guy, he sat down and told me he had digestive issues, he had reproductive issues, and his prostate was bothering him. And then he mentioned some other stuff. And then I calculated some herbs for him. I gave him some tea blends and I gave him some herb capsules. And within a week, he was just so overwhelmed, like overjoyed. And he was like, Marisha, I'm going to have to set aside some monies for you, because this, I just know. Like he was like, I know maybe my mindset too, because I was ready for it. And then maybe here I am aligning with the products. He was like, but I haven't even really changed my diet like 100%. And I know I've been consistent with your tea and herbs, and they have helped me so much more. Like you're going to have me as a forever client. I was like, well, we're going to see, because for me, I don't want to necessarily, my act is of being of service. So I want to teach you how to master healing yourself, because it's not about money, all the time, because you could get that anywhere, anytime. And money comes in different forms. It doesn't just have to come with the green that we spend. It comes in, again, like this platform here is a way of paying forward, right? Paying. So I said, we can do this for now. Then, when you get the training wheels off, I'm going to show you the herbs and how to do these things and how you could implement time. But, I was just ecstatic with both of those people. Those are just top two, but yeah, I got a handful.
That's great. All right. Take us through a typical day for you in terms of the wellness practices that you do and also like what you eat. So what's a typical day like for Marisha?
I like to follow the circadian rhythm, and that's basically the sun, with eating. So I would get up. Sometimes I'll do oil pull first. Other days I'll drink water right out of bed. Like literally, I have a bottle of water. And I'll do some stretching on my grounding mat, and give thanks. Again, do a lymphatic pat down. I'll come in my workout space, and I'll do I have a yoga chair where you can practice like being upside down, which I know also helps with lymphatic drainage. So I'll do that for like a minute or two. I'll go downstairs in my house, make my herbal tea. While it's steeping, I'm rebounding for like 15 minutes, listening to some guided meditation. Then I'll prep myself for the day with fruits and stuff. So I already have like papaya cut, watermelon, blueberries, grapes, and things, so that I can just grab that out the fridge. And then I'll have, this is me going to work. So I'm going to give that, because I go to work more than me staying home. But at home, I do still the same thing. I'll prep my fruit inside of, container. And then I'll get my tea, get that together. And I'm drinking that on my way to work. I don't break my fast until afternoon anyway, like eating. If I do eat before noon, I'm eating fruit, because that's the easiest thing to digest for me. Lunchtime, I'm having, my meal is mostly live and raw. So I'm having salad, some avocado, some other vegetables or fruits, tomatoes, chayote, zucchini. And then I'll have another break. I'll eat some more fruit. Now, sparingly I have had, so I'm still a work in progress too. So I don't want to come on here acting like, it's just like straight and narrow. So my culprit right now is tostones chips, which is like plantain chips. And I have this thing that I also like to implement, which is modification elimination. So, which is you eat something or you drink something, and as time goes, you are depleting away from it, because I don't want to have anything in moderation. I want to get it away from me if it's not good. So if I'm having it for 7 days, next month is going to be 6, and it'll be 5, and so on until it's depleted. So I used to eat tostones really, really like heavily every day. So now I've not had it in like months, and then this month I have been having it a lot. So I have it as a snack. I'll come home, and I'm drinking water throughout the day, by the way. I'm not mentioning water, but I am drinking water. Come home, I'm not eating after 8 o'clock for the most part, and I'll have my tea again, and then I'm taking my own herbal capsules with somebody's juice, soursop juice, 100% Concord grape juice. And then maybe if I have some more time, I'm drinking water. So, and I'm stretching, and I'll do some reflecting, and I write and, work on my craft, whether it be making some ear art, working on content to post, and just reflecting on the day.
You mentioned a lot of, habits and meals and stuff. What's one meal, habit, herb, or ritual that changed your health the most?
Castor oil. Pure castor oil is the greatest. And oil of oregano come a close second. But castor oil, I feel like, you ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
I don't remember it. Probably, I'm not sure.
Okay, so the father in the movie likes to say, when he likes to use Windex for everything. He say, "Oh, put the Windex on it, it'll fix it. Put the Windex on it, it'll fix it." And I'm like that with castor oil and oil of oregano. I'm like, oh, go put some castor oil pack on you. Go take a spoonful of castor oil. Put the castor oil in your scar. it's going to fix it. It's going to stop the burning. You got inflammation, rub this here, rub that there. So castor oil is like, I have to have, like, if somebody said, what you going to have in your backpack? Some castor oil.
We're going to come to that backpack later, but okay, castor oil. What have you used it for?
I use the castor oil pack for the fibroids. So I'll do, I put it on the fabric, the material, and then I'll wrap it around. And you know, I'll warm it up with a hot water bottle. I'll just lay down for like 45 minutes or so. And it helps with it also helps with digestion as well too. Like it helps again the inflammation. So if you bloat it, it's good. People usually do like liver, do it with their liver, but you can put it on different parts of your body to help with like lymphatic drainage but for me, it was the focus of the womb, healing with that for the most part. And on the latter side, I've been using it for like, if I get a little scrape or burn, it helps it heal like blinking. Like soon as I put it on, within a couple of hours, I forget that I've even had it or whatever the issue was. So I really I put it in my hair and it's just all around, I'll put it on my skin. I just love it. I love it.
You mentioned the womb a while ago, and you had mentioned it earlier when you were saying in terms of prioritizing self-care and womb health. What are some of the things that women can do to help their womb?
I bought myself a yoni seat to put on a stainless steel pot at home, and I do a cluster of herbs that I'll boil and let steep, and then I'll sit on it for 40 minutes. At home, that is one thing that you can do. I mean, if you can't find the time to do it at home, there's different clinics now that offer these services. And, you know, I would say look into that. If you want to do it on your own at home, get yourself a stainless steel pot, a wooden seat to sit on, get you the herbs. You know, you would have to Google the different herbs, and you could just do your own yoni steaming at least twice a week or once a week. You wouldn't do it during your cycle. I would say take baths if you can do that. If you can't take baths, soak your feet, because that's also like the bottom of your foot is connected to all your organs. So if you soak your feet, especially in some herb water. So like some people don't like drinking tea, but I would say steep your tea like you would drink it, then pour it in the foot bath and soak your feet in that water, because it's going to absorb the same way like you would drink it, you know, as if you was drinking it. So that would help detox your body. I would also just, you know, do a cleansing with your hands and then lay down and get connected with it. You know, putting your hands on your womb, getting used to touching it and knowing it, you know, even get in the mirror to look at your vulva while you're doing these things and talk to yourself, because again, a lot of emotion is tied into a lot of the issues that we have. Because if you had partners that was abusive, if you had relationships that, you know, you couldn't let go of, if you hold on to any type of anger, know that your womb is going to reflect that. Your throat and your vagina openings look the same. So all the anger here is, you know, you're tight here is going to be tight down there. So not only just with what you eat, but how, you know, you can do other things around to help everything relax. And that includes just laying down sometimes, just speaking positively to your womb and saying how much you love it and thank you for the support. You know, even prior to acknowledging you, you know, you were doing things that I didn't even know you was doing. I'm just treating you bad, bro. Like, you know, so gotta include it. Gotta talk to her. Gotta talk to her. Name her. Name her. I have a name. I will never disclose the name. I call her Woomy, WOMBIE, Woomy. But she has a name, and I only acknowledge her that, and I will never disclose that. But get tapped in.
I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to be moving into the last segment of this conversation, and it's the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you the questions quickly and you answer as quickly as you can. One fitness move or workout you love for hormone support.
Hula hooping. Like,
Ooh.
you know, the circle rotation.
I know that. A healing habit that you swear by.
Grounding.
One thing you stopped eating or doing that made a big difference.
Dairy. Bye.
Your favorite easy meal that's healthy and satisfying.
Marinated okra, like fresh okra. Just cut it and you put some herbs and a little bit of, if you want oil, but let it marinate overnight and you can eat that. It is so good. And you get some natural chlorophyll from that. Yes.
Listen, I need the recipe for that, okay?
Okay.
Because I love okra. Roots and remedies. If you could share one natural remedy every woman should know for period pain, energy, or hormone balance, what would it be?
I'm going to say nettle, sarsaparilla, and castor oil. That's my combo to help ease up.
If you could challenge our listeners to try one wellness practice for this week, what would it be?
Positively pouring into yourself, speaking life. Like, don't complain. Be like, oh, girl, like, oh, these hips are bothering me. Like, oh, thank you, God, for these hips. They are doing amazing. We are working through our challenges. Change your words. Change your words. Change your words. Catch yourself and change your words. So if you feel the pain, turn it into something positive. Thank you, body, for allowing it and acknowledging that this is, it's bothering me, but it's you still working, and we're a work in progress. We are a work in progress.
So basically, change your words, change your perspectives, and be positive and have a spirit of gratitude. Love that. What's one song or mantra that fueled you on your wellness and womb healing journey, or even on your workouts?
Lately, first off, yes, it's a whole playlist back here in my head, honey. But I'm gonna tell you the one that's right now. The young lady's name is Savannah Christina. Did I say that right? I hope I did. Savannah Christina. Her song is called Becoming. And my mom was listening to me vibing to this song because I had it on play for a whole hour replaying the song just back to back to back to back. She know the song now because of this, right? So she listened to the lyrics after a while. She said, "This song is you." And I didn't tell her nothing about the song. I said, "Mom, just listen to the song." She said, "This song is you." It's called Becoming. And I've been talking about becoming. And I said, I have a picture. I'm going to reshare it on my page. But it's a picture of me. And this was years ago. It's come full circle. And it says, all I ever wanted to be was who I am becoming. And this is way before knowing about this song. I don't know this artist who came out with this song, but I'm just like, Mom, look how this came full circle for me. So yeah.
No, you get to me. I want to hear a little piece of it.
Oh my gosh. She says, now I can't even sing it on the table. Oh God, it's stressing me. Hold on. It says, I had to change how I was living, so I changed how I eat. I had to change how I was thinking so I could change how I speak. She said I had to change how I was drinking. Lord. Anyway, the first two is for sure. She's just saying, I love who I'm becoming. She had to change up on her old ones because they changed up on her. She was, stressing with life initially, but then now she just let stuff flow. And then now it's just things are just growing. And she just like, everything I ever wanted to be is who I'm becoming. And, you can't stop me because I'm becoming. And the song is just like, it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful.
Now to the starter pack. If you had to put together a starter pack for someone beginning their healing or fitness or womb health journey, what would you put in it? And you can put whatever you want to put in it.
A journal, so that they can track whatever they want to track, whether it be food, whatever. Juice, a jar of juice, a container of fruit. It would be watermelon, or mangoes, whatever season we in. A container of herbs, some castor oil, gonna go in there.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Some oil of oregano, because if they get bruised up, oil of oregano or neem oil, they both are good with stabilizing open wounds. I would put some sneakers in there. I would put a reference guide, like basic questions that I know they would ask, like, when should I eat this? How should I eat this? And maybe also have pictures of this so that they can see, because I know I'm a visual and a reader when it comes to learning. And I would include a grounding mat and a mirror so that they can self-reflect.
Are there any books that you'd add to that or no?
Okay, great. I'm gonna say one just off the top, off the rip, so they can really just get it. Dr. Laila Africa, who is an ancestor, His book, Nutricide. I love his book because I can hear this man's voice when I'm reading the book. He's just like straight, no chaser. And it's just like when you read this book, you're gonna be like, oh, I've been bamboozled. And there's so many other books out there, but I feel like Nutricide, he just like he says it like down to the gritty where anybody could just pick up this book and just be like, ain't no way, like, nah, I just can't. Like, they'll be upset.
I want to give you the opportunity to share with our audience how you can help them on their healing journey and how they can get in contact with you.
Different platforms are Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, you can look up MBody Fitness, MBF, on Instagram as well. YouTube, I've been on there for forever. I just got my first 100 followers. Whoop, whoop. YouTube, it's Marisha MBody Fitness, MBF. My email is mbodyfitness10@gmail.com. And you can reach out to me on any of those platforms. Now I do send stuff, via packages, and you know that because it is perishables, know that you will invest in yourself so that it can get to you. If you ever think about reaching out to me, I don't have a website yet. I do also have an ebook. The link is on my YouTube. It's on my Instagram and Facebook as well. It's called Eat Well, Live Well. The book just made a year old, April 30th. And I'm basically giving the coaching there for $20 about everything that I'm literally practicing for myself in my lifestyle that you can implement in your lifestyle. And yeah, that's basically it. Those are the platforms.
So what I'll do is I'll add the link in the description for your ebook and for your platform so people can reach out to you. So now the final question is, what does true healing mean to you?
True healing is embodying fitness to me and having it reflect without you having to open your mouth, and people can look at you and see and walk up to you who don't even know you. I mean, I'm talking about just from a second of seeing you and know who you are just because of how you look. You don't have to do no advertisement and say, hey, I do this and this and this. They can say, I can tell that you do X, Y, and Z. Can you help me out? And I've had that happen. And that is the true meaning behind that to me, where if you are reflecting and living and doing what you are preaching on these platforms and not just doing it for clickbait or to get numbers or subscribers and these things, you really living this life, then that is going to naturally happen, whether it be in the social media world or in real life. And that's the easiest way to implement it, is just being you and being honest.
I love that. Thank you so much, Marisha, for agreeing to share your story with my audience. I'm sure that they will get nuggets, some word of wisdom from our conversation. I love you taking the time to, have a conversation with me today.
I appreciate you too. And I just want to tell you, I want to end this on an even higher note. You were one of the people who, there was three things I want to just mention before we jump off. You were one of the people who, when I was on the internet looking for somebody that looked like me, reflection, as far as eating live and raw and implementing wellness and just being happy. And this is why I tell you, I didn't know your name. I didn't know anything, but I'm just like Googling, hashtagging like raw live challenges, like, doing these things. And I popped up with your page, and I've been following you since. You interviewed two other people who I've connected with, Keisha, Happy Womb.
Ooh.
So that your platform has helped me on that spectrum. And then I also had connected with Michelle from Double Dutch Aerobics some time ago. Her and her husband were examples of people that I wanted to see who were doing juicing long term, because I did 60 days of juice because of them. So it's coming full circle. So I'm very appreciative of you and your platform, and I thank you, and continue being great and just continuing, just doing this. And again, you were reflecting literally what I just said with the lifestyle and just being you. You don't even have to do the work. It's effortlessly showing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm on my own healing journey, and I'm just grateful that at least sharing these stories are, it's having an impact. It's positively impacting people. Now you just touched on juicing, and I'm like, oh my, there are so many questions I could have asked you. I know the interview is finished, but maybe we can have another conversation at another time on, some other areas of wellness and some other things, because I'm sure doing 60 days of juicing would, there are a lot to ask. There's a lot to ask about that,
Yes, I am open to a part two. Okay, I'm open to a part two.
All right, thank you so much.
To our listeners and viewers, I hope that this episode inspired you as much as it inspired me. Remember, healing is a journey, not a destination, and every small step you take counts. You can watch more episodes of Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia on Amazon Audible, Spotify, and YouTube Music. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. If you're watching on YouTube, please check out the description section for links and to stay connected with me on social media. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, nature cures. Blessed love.